shit. Not always I'm prepared for the videos, am I? Yeah, I'm not prepared for videos. This is the best reason that I could give you for why I'm not doing them. Every single week, like I promised. The interesting part is that I keep the promises, just don't satisfy them. I always remember, like, I sometimes make a promise to every single year make Creeper's Forge remake. But that's coming. That is coming this year for sure. Hopefully. I'm keeping the promise. I still remember to do it, and one day it's gonna happen, obviously. And I think I'm getting pretty close in terms of knowledge. So I'm gonna change the format a little bit. Again, this 3 months I'm just tinkering around, trying to figure out how the format is gonna even work. Of spawning a game. Yeah. I just thought it as well. Like, Unity's such a cool name, right? You have Windows, then Unity is on top of Windows, on top of operating system, and then you have my engine as an extension of Unity. I can still call it an engine if it does, if it's a creative space. If it's not trying to be a game or already polished or interactable content. If it gives you the tools, then it's an engine. So you can't argue with that. And in comparison to Unity, it's a engine extension. Or you can call it a plugin, but still an engine. And what I'm trying to achieve is to make a lot of games a lot easier and faster. Although most of the times now I'm finding myself to make features instead of the games. So I'm gonna clarify of what am I gonna to do, what's my plan is gonna be once I'm finished, like, preparing myself, because there's a lot of stuff around me that's going on. Probably gonna have to move to another location where I'll kind of settle down. Almost, maybe I'll have to move. Yeah, I'm thinking at least 2 times I'll have to move in this year. So you're gonna see some struggles, but right now there's this big move going on. Anyways, if I'll find, like, private space, that would be amazing. That's like the huge achievement. Even if it's a loud private space, but nobody really cares of what I'm doing. There's this cockroach feeling sometimes, That is much more annoying than someone is just being noisy. You can argue. Anyways, yeah. Ugh, it's always fucked up to deal with outside when you're working. That's kind of the challenge, right? Real life challenge. Anyway, so I put this picture again because it contains 7 games, and if you calculate, if you want to make 7 games, how much time you would distribute, you would distribute like around 7 weeks for each game. So each game, 7 weeks, 7 weeks, 7 weeks. And the way I could distribute those 7 weeks, I could bounce around games. And the plan is to do that, to bounce around games, introducing every single feature that this game, for example, would be dependent on. I would have to make some ball physics or something like that. Not necessarily physics, but how interactions. And the physics interactions is somewhat actually even more difficult to do. I don't know how to explain it, but there are so many gaps left out. let's say now I'm kind of doing the basis of that with a test game that I call Love Sweeper, and it's split into 7 week work. Every single week I would take a different aspect and work on that. And there are 5 aspects. There's the first aspect of figuring out what the game is even gonna look like and how it's gonna work, and planning out every single point, kind of setting up the basis and everything, seeing what tools do you have already, learning about stuff. It's the basics, right? And in the end you have the presentation. So that's the 7th week. So right now I'm doing the Love Sweeper, which is based on the Minesweeper. And as you move the ball, you discover the cells, or the voxels, gonna change their colors. And as you move around, the voxels appear in this infinitely generatable world, kind of. It looks like a hexagon grid, and that's kind of like the feature of the engine. But generally I just created that it's possible to scale any object, like you see voxels appearing, scaling up, that you're able to color every object gradually, not just immediately. And you can make a ripple like this. That's a pretty cool one. Bam, ripples. It's not perfect in the way that those ripples kind of intersect themselves, but that's the best way that I figure out to do. And also, ball has some problems. Not always the space is revealed. I think I know what's the problem, you know. There are some problems in the game. With the raycasting, I have to figure out how it's gonna work out. The major problem is sometimes the ball doesn't jump, or doesn't want to stomp the ground. And as you stomp the ground, you're able to disarm the mine before you actually figure out that it's a mine there, and you lose a life or something like that. So that's the basic concept. I just thought the hexagon grid was kind of more interesting, and of course there are lots of more features that I can add. Always, like always, I can add a bunch of features in every single game. But again, I would try to figure out what's the core features that I want to add. And then I come back to the game, I'll re-implement the features that I got from these games into that one, and it's gonna get a lot better. So that's why I want to bounce around, just not focus on the game. Because if I bounce around, I kind of figure out more things, learn more things. And like setup, I usually do that, like if I play RPG, I pick up a character, I go to a certain point, then I create another character, I go to a certain point, and I try to create as many different characters just to figure out how the game works, really. That's how I kind of decode the game. Trying out every single thing in the game is all about playing all these different characters, not just completing the game. Actually, I don't. Completing a game is just the biggest challenge I could ever get, because I get really bored while really grinding into the game by using different characters. That's the same principle when programming. I just try to do many different things, but they all have like this core mechanics that work with every single game. So I could once I bounce around, I collect some core mechanics, and then I go back to the game that I started with, and I see, oh, I got so many tools now. I could push forward and see what next, right? What next tool I have to do. So the first weeks I'm gonna figure out how these games are gonna look like and all that. But I wanted to come back to the games because I just figured out like I could make 7 games, and I have 7 game ideas already. So why not to make them, like realize them? Why should I forget this promise? It's not a promise, but it's kind of project type of thing. Now, so that's the basics, right? That's the basics. I don't think there's much to show except one folder. In the description you will find a link to this folder right here, and you'll be able to access every single game that I'll make. So if I make an update or just showcase whatever the showcase is, whatever you see on the screen, you're probably gonna find it in here in this folder, and in the description you'll find a link to the folder. You can like bookmark it to your web browser and always check it, not having to like press on my video and go to the link in the description. You can just bookmark it and always see if there's something new by looking at the date modified, and you'll understand how these updates work. Like yesterday I updated this shit. It's gonna be much more efficient if I'm not able to make a video, for example, which I'm not planning to do for a while until I settle down. I will make some videos like I had a theme of RNG, right? The RNG, and I couldn't handle it. What I tried to do in the end, again, it's Minesweeper. There's some RNG because you kind of putting mines in random order, but there's basically RNG in every single game, and figuring out what is the value of that RNG, how much player loses because something did not happen, is very difficult. It's something that you shouldn't do unless you're trying to program AI, because you're trying to get into the core of the game, figure out to what are the values of certain actions. Let's say if you play Hearthstone, you put a bomber, and it could be bad for you and it could be good for you, but also you can control how good and bad it could be. If a player plays a lot of 1 health creatures, a bomb that does 1 damage is going to kill that creature and get a lot of value. So that's the point of a bomber. You do not play it when you have your own minions with low health. That's very risky. And that's the beauty of RNG, where you are able to actually use it in certain situations. It's good, and in certain situations it's bad, and how you use it is the most important part. So I just kind of figured it out over a week, and these type of videos I'm gonna be releasing in another channel. Again, you've probably seen it, it's Positive. It's all about this mental stuff, drawing on a blackboard and shit like that. So yeah, I hope you kind of understand what I'm going for, and the project is gonna be delayed until I figure out what the fuck am I doing in the first place. So the video that I released is kind of like deception. I spawned 1 game. Oh my god. Yeah, it's probably gonna take a lot of while. Also, wish me a happy birthday at March 5th. Thank you very much. See you guys next time.